Well, hello and welcome everybody to tonight's live stream. It's Aaron, KD2RSS, coming to you for North Country Ham. Been a little while since I've done a live in the shack and kind of going over what I've been doing. Still studying for my extra class. I didn't meet my goal of last fall, beginning of winter time to take my test to get the extra class. So I'm still working on that. As always, there's a lot of stuff going on with life that takes place and needs to get taken care of. So in ham radio, I've been kind of going along when I can, playing a little radio, getting involved with some events. I got to do field day this year, and that was a good event. Of course, that was the same day as my son's graduation and everything else. So I was a little late getting to field day because of for good reason. Not every day your child graduates high school, and he's actually started college now, and did a with our local Races Aries group, did a marathon race here the other week, where we basically did all the communications and everything for the race teams, passing along different checkpoints and everything, and kind of playing some chase vehicle stuff, radioing in locations. So that was kind of interesting and fun getting to do that with another group. We haven't been able to do a whole lot of those events lately, so that was a nice thing. Got to go to some ham fests with a friend of mine from the club. We did our own club's ham fest in May, same weekend as Dayton, but I didn't have the opportunity to make it to Dayton, so I helped out with the local ham fest there. Got to go to the Rah Rah Ham Fest in Rochester, New York. That was a good day there. Got to see some folks that we see in a lot of the chats and stuff, so that was nice. It's played a little bit of radio around the house. Just sitting here. I haven't been able to get out and do any POTA like I would like to. The last few months have been extremely busy. A lot of back and forth and some traveling out of state, and things have kind of started to quiet down, so maybe I can get a couple of POTAs in before the weather turns here in the Great White North, and turns cold. Some upcoming middle of October, I want to say around the 15th or so, somewhere in there. The Boy Scouts have their Brotherhood Jamboree. That's going to be held in Wellesley Island State Park, and there's trying to put together some show and tell and some stuff for the scouts to come check out all about ham radio and amateur radio applications, what we can do. They want to try to show a bunch of the different modes between digital and packet stuff and regular sideband and HF, just to show good all around for the scouts. So I'm looking to try to participate with that. We'll see how that goes. So that's what we've got going so far, in the life of ham radio for me. As far as some of my projects, I know some have seen my rotor antenna rotator for satellite tracking. That's still in the works. Worked well for what we got it to do. We had it tracking a couple of satellites, although it wasn't pointing in an accurate direction, and I think that's some may have alluded to this in some other videos, or when I've been part of some other streams. Haven't had a really chance to get together with a friend of mine and do anything with it, but as far as fine-tuning some of the programming, although I am looking at trying to maybe update and come up with a different design. This design worked well, and it does seem to hold up to some pretty good weight, and it does have good travel. But I'm thinking about trying to maybe with my 3D printer, print some worm gear to do some ratio stuff, and maybe instead of servo motors, utilize it with some stepper motors. And so I might be redesigning my pan tilt and coming up with a little different design that it might be able to implement some of that with it. So it's an update on that project. Something else new I've gotten into that I took advantage of purchasing the GRMS GMRS license, and I got my little Baofeng UV9G handheld. Used that some during the Sackett's Harbor 1812 marathon. We were utilizing one of the VHF bands on a repeater for the main communications and utilizing a channel on the GMRS for secondary. So I got to play around with that a little bit. Worked pretty well for the distance we were spanning. Another one of my projects that I kind of did that I 3D printed was my dual band dipole that I was working on for my truck bed to mount under my tonneau cover. The 3D print and everything turned out well, and it fit really nice. Had it sitting in the back window when I was traveling out of state. Was getting some good reception and stuff with it, and then granted I didn't have a super great tune on it, but let me switch my camera angles here. Once I put it in the tonneau cover, it was extremely hot for it. As you can see, it warped pretty good on this. Now this is printed in PLA, but it was extremely hot under that black tonneau cover to where it misshaped a lot of stuff. I had a decent tune on 2 meter. I had, I thought it was a pretty good tune on 2 meter. 70 cm, your 440 band. It was a little kind of a little out of, it had some low spots and some higher spots, so I wanted to fine tune that a little bit, but I may revisit this, try it maybe with PETG. So to me, the current print kind of failed for it to make it a good antenna that was hidden. You couldn't even see it in the truck bed, and I may show a little more in-depth video on that when because I did take some video clips and stuff, so I may show a little more on that and kind of go into the failure of it a little bit. But it did not like the heat, but you can see it's all, it come out pretty well. Everything fit nice, and you could use this as hang up in a tree for a dipole that way, and whatever length wire you cut. But that was one project I kind of was working on that I got to revisit and do a little more on. Obviously, I'm going to have to reprint some parts, but I haven't done a lot of that because I've been working on my 3D printer. I had the Ender 3 Pro, and I did a couple of little upgrades to it here and there. I had the CR Touch auto bed level on it, and the extruder head where the filament feeds through, I changed to the all metal one, and I changed the hot end to an all hot end, all metal hot end, and everything was working really well and tuned in pretty good. Had some good quality stuff coming out, and then decided to upgrade the motherboard to the 4.2.7, and I wanted to utilize the V2 screen, the color screen, but that's not the touch screen. But couldn't get them to work with any of the firmwares, so my printer's been down for a little while. But I think I might have it working. I've done a little bit of printing today with it, testing out with some firmware stuff that I've tried, and I think I've got it working where the screen works and the new silent running board works. And I tell you, I hear a vast difference on my printer utilizing that upgraded motherboard. I don't hear the stepper motors at all. They're whisper quiet. I don't hear them. All I hear is the cooling fans running. So that was a good upgrade. We'll see how that works, and hopefully get some more interesting prints and stuff going to show off on the channel. So another project I've been kind of tinkering with is I've been wanting to set up my own WinLink gateway. I've got a Raspberry Pi 4 that I've got set up, and I utilized KM4ACK's channel. He had some good videos on running the Pi with WinLink and everything, and I found one where it was utilize it as a gateway. It's fighting me a little bit. It's not noticing the sound card as a device in it. I had it working, and then it stopped. Of course, I was testing it, plugging it straight into my 991A, and I had it kind of working. But that's not the radio I wanted to run the gateway on. I've got a Yaesu FT2200, and I'll show you some of these parts. So there's my Pi 4 in a case all set up with the build a Pi on it with only a certain stripped down number of programs on it. I think I've got the GPS stuff on there, as well as Pat Winlink and the Direwolf and the Telnet and all that, like he recommended. But there was one or two other programs I put on there because I wanted to try to also run this APRS too, once I get it figured out. I have a secondary power supply that I was going to utilize for it. You can see it's a Tech Power TP30 switching power supply. I made my own little jumpers here, power poled, so it's nice and clean for the radio and the TNC that I've got. Picked the TNC here up at the Hamfest for $5, so I couldn't beat the price. The Timewave PK96, supposed to be a decent TNC from what I can see. Kind of made my own, I rewired the cable for, I believe I've got the pin out correct, looking at the manuals, but this is an older Yaesu FT2200. You can see it's got the old style pin out for the mic, and that's why I decided to use this radio instead of the Anytone 588 that I picked up for $5 also. So I may utilize that one if I can't get this TNC to work. But obviously the pin out and everything, the way I've got it set, fits right into the 2200 here, nice. So that's the radio that I'm using, but the TNC, with everything hooked up to it, I got to try to troubleshoot, because when I power it on, power light comes on, and the male light, the station connected, well, you're receiving stuff from that station connected, and sensing traffic on the frequency. These four lights all stay red, solid red, and the power light stays solid green when powered on. Now, I've tried doing some of the troubleshooting that I found in the manual that I found online for it. None of that's working. So I got to do a little more figuring out. I don't know if it has to do with adjusting the TX transmit levels on the back, but it doesn't seem like it wants to restart and resync itself. It's almost like it's initiated and it's not going to cooperate. Now, of course, I put power poles on this, and I got power poles on the radio wire, so that way everything plugs nice and clean and stays. So I've been kind of tinkering with that. I was actually working with that a little bit today. Haven't, for whatever reason now on the Pi, it keeps deleting the device, the sound device, which was the card 3 device 0. It's not finding them, not connecting, and it's not, when I do the screen dash R, Direwolf and BPQ, it's not finding the screens running, and it's not running or opening anything up because it's like it's lost out of that port, and it won't reconnect that port, especially now that I've got into the other radio. So I don't know. I'm at a loss, but my thought, I want to get this all up and running and have it set up here in my shack, and that way it's a WinLink gateway for folks in the local area to work and use. So I'm kind of at a loss at that. I may try to get some other sound card, maybe try that if I can't get that one to work, and then I may reinstall and reflash everything on the Pi with everything connected as it is and see if that helps. But I may reach out to Jason for a little input. KM4ACK definitely knows the stuff when it comes to the Pis and ham radio stuff. So I may reach out to him for a little input or thought process on that. Definitely want to give him the credit for the Build-A-Pi and everything I've got. That's I got another Pi that I've got the entire full suite a Build-A-Pie on it, and you know, I've liked it. It works well. So we'll ooh, I almost thought I ended stuff here. I bumped a so, but I just wanted to jump in here quick, do a quick little overview video of how things have been going for me in the ham journey, what I've been getting into, what I'm enjoying, you know, and what I want to try to do the rest of the season here before the snow fly and gets hectic. You know, I've got some other irons in the fire, so to speak, that going to take up some of my time, so I'm going to kind of play it by ear and see how things are going. I definitely appreciate everybody's input, feedback, comments on the channel, viewing, you know, subscribe and viewing. Greatly appreciated, everybody. I know I've been a little on and off vacant here recently because of everything, but I am working to come back around and get some more content put out there and show some more stuff. So if there's things you guys got ideas for that you think you might want to try to design in 3D print, reach out to me. I definitely up for that. I got a couple others that some folks that I met at the One Ham Fest I haven't had a chance to really do much with, but they got some rotors for like TV antennas and stuff that have got some plastic gears in them that keep breaking, and they want me to try to print the gears. So I'm working on that too. But with the printer down for a few weeks now, I haven't really been able to print anything. So now that I've got up and running, I got to keep doing some test prints and tweaking some things until I get it fine-tuned and back into the print quality I like, and then I'll get into doing some redesigning and 3D printing. So I appreciate it. With that, I'll kind of keep this a shorter video here, and definitely be on again soon, and look forward to see everybody and interacting some more. So with that, I'll say 7-3 and get on the air.